This is an intro. Okay, welcome to Under the Veil.
Cringy fan fiction.
Exactly. Just kidding. This is actually good fan fiction. Something that
Fake
Steelix
fan.
wouldn't know because he writes smut!
What?
Okay, so today we're going to be reading Under the Veil by Poplasia.
Poplasia,
Chapter 6.
Poplasia, whatever. The greatest, less
Chapter
great
6.
escape. Alright,
Yes.
Chronos, Steelix is gonna do the, Gandalf Dumbledore wannabe.
I'll be doing the
Dumbledore's a Gandalf wannabe, and Steelix is gonna voice him and Snape. Chronos is gonna be everyone who I can't.
narrator.
Yeah, narrator and everyone I can't do. I can do narrator great. All right, go.
Sirius regained his ability to speak rather quickly, making use of his promptly shouting,
Sons! That's my name. Don't wear it out.
The skeleton looked around himself curiously, wide-eyed.
Carelessly.
Like...
He looked
This
around
is the-
carelessly, then gets stabbed by a spike. It appears I died.
No, these are like the bloopers. Alright. The skeleton looked around
We
himself
have no
curiously,
bloopers.
white eyelids lazily glancing over the dusty box. He stuffed his hands deep into his hoodie's pockets and rocked back and forth on his feet, posture perfectly relaxed.
Not what I expected, a bit bare bones, honestly.
It was such a normal thing, Sans making puns, that Sirius couldn't do anything but smile and laugh, and be happy that Sans was safe. Not caught, or worse, but standing right there and just, well, making puns. In tired but relieved agreement, he nodded.
You can say that again! I could, but that'd be redundant.
He waved a dismissive hand.
Anyway, on the topic of expectations, I'm guessing this isn't quite what you had planned. What clued you in? The fact that I literally voiced my confusion aloud just a few seconds ago? Actually, I picked up on it because of the swarm of flying demon cloak things.
Silence. Sirius stared at... Sirius, I don't know how to pronounce it. Sirius stared at the short skeleton, mouth slightly agape.
I mean, I'd hope you hadn't actually wanted to bring us to a gathering of evil sentient rags.
Sans continued, seeing that his wizard companion was clearly at a loss.
That'd be kind of rude, you know.
Sirius puzzled out what he had been told, mumbling.
What? Flying demon cloak things, evil sentient rags.
And then he realized.
You mean to tell me there were Dementors? Sure, if that's what those were called. But then you...
He didn't bother finishing his thought, choosing instead to check his friend over, clearly concerned.
Sans, are you alright?
Sans rubbed the back of his skull with one hand, not sure how to respond. He was fine. Magically speaking, he hadn't used much of his reserves when he attacked the whatchamacallits. Although, to be honest, now that he wasn't focused on trailing the wizard in black, he did feel a bit off. So, though Sirius didn't know it, he quickly checked himself. Tendrils of magic were drawn up and directed to pass through his bones, invisible and all but undetectable to anyone else. They faded away with thought, only leaving behind traces for Sans to, well, check. Mentally quantifying his observations, everything seemed to be perfectly normal at first. 1 HP, 1 attack, and 1 defense. His normal, frankly obscenely large quantity of magic, and yet, the best way he could describe it was that his soul was almost felt heavy. Annoyed that his check hadn't helped, Sans turned back to Sirius. For a long moment, he simply considered himself, clearly debating something to himself.
Look,
Sans sighed, coming to some kind of conclusion.
I trust you, so I won't ask you to promise me anything, just...
He couldn't figure out the right words, but his expression was enough. Sirius knew it was important, whatever it was.
I don't really understand, but I promise I trust you. I'm a salesman, you see.
Yes, the short skeleton didn't bother clarifying, or at least he didn't bother clarifying with words. Drawing in an unnecessary breath, Sans did his best to rally himself. He might not like it, but he knew something was off, and he wanted to fix it. So, lightly tapping at the space directly above his sternum with one bony finger, he called out his soul. The upside-down heart shimmered in his view, blue and gold lights dancing vibrantly across the silverly surface. I said that wrong still. Or at least most of his surface. Best narrator ever. Makes a whole lot of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
He heard Sirius gasp,
10 out of 10.
though he wasn't sure if it was because of his summoning or what it revealed. The noxious magical residue, dull, opaque, and the color of nightmares. It oozed, festering, even as it slowly sent out oily streaks to tighten its hold on him. Sans couldn't help but draw unsettling parallels to another soul, stained and possessed, and he suppressed a shudder. At least that meant what he knew what to do. He gently poked his soul, blue magic flashing his fingertips, and sparked an incongruently violent reaction as the gunk was ripped away and torn to rapidly vanishing shreds. The uncomfortable weight he had been feeling disappeared. After a few more seconds checking it over, he finally let out the inverted heart fade safely back into his chest.
Why are you staring at me? Definitely not because you just randomly pulled a glowing heart out of your chest. It couldn't possibly be because of that.
Sirius deadpanned, before quickly dropping his sarcastic tone in exchange for a curious one.
What was that?
Sans pulled himself onto one of the boxes, short legs dangling a few feet off the ground.
My soul. Your soul? No, my soul.
Sans repeated, as if correcting the pronunciation. Sirius couldn't really hear much of a difference.
Though I suppose it's basically the same thing. So monsters can pull their souls right out of their chests.
The skeleton shrugged, choosing not to correct the minute pronunciation differences a second time.
Yeah, sure, I could pull yours out yours too if you're interested.
Sirius certainly looked interested, but naturally he was also more than a little uneasy about the idea. After all, the Dementor's kiss isn't something he ever subject himself to willingly, though of course this method seemed completely different. But just to check...
And you're sure I won't end up a soulless husk? That soul didn't happen.
Sirius harumphed. The sound somewhere...
Harumphed.
The sound... Are you gonna let me read? Harumphed. The sound somewhere between a suppressed chuckle and a doubtful grumble. Sans clarified, adding,
Gee, man, have some faith. It's not like I take the soul from you. I just tug it out a bit. Does it hurt?
Sans raised an eyebrow, eyelids brightening with surprise.
Wow, you're actually kind of interested, aren't you? No!
He was quick to correct.
Not if it hurts! Chillax, Sirius. No need to get frosty with me. It doesn't hurt at all. It just feels a bit squeezy. I'm not being frosty with you. Oh. That was just for the pun, wasn't it?
Sirius didn't even seem to see Sans' grinning face to know the answer. He sighed, but found his unease swiftly fading. After all, this was Sans, his friend.
Yes, I admit, I am interested. Would you...
Sans' expression abruptly changed, and without any further warning, he silently vanished.
Oh, mind. Oh, for the love of...
Sirius grumbled, crossing his arms with an eye roll before glancing around. He spotted Sans fairly quickly, since the short skeleton had only teleported to the other side of the room.
Tell me when you're going to do that, or at least don't interrupt. Shh! Did you just...
There was a sudden sharp rap at the window, cutting him off. Then another.
Am I not allowed to finish a sentence or something?
Sans gave a slight smirk, but said
Be right
nothing.
back. You can
Simply...
keep up the narration.
Alright. Sans Sans gave a slight smirk but said nothing, simply nodding toward the room's soul's narrow window. It seemed like Sirius wanted to gripe some more, but he stopped himself when Sans sobered. His attitude sharpening with startling intensity and focused on the window. A second later, there was a flash of light from outside. Curious, Sirius walked over and peered out, and promptly saw what might very well have been the last thing he expected to see.
And now we wait for the imbecile to come back. Quick.
Wait, isn't this my part? Isn't this Hermione speaking?
I don't think something. No, it's not. That's, this is, I think, serious.
I see.
So, talk crap. Talk crap about Nikolai all you want. Do it. Quick.
Hello.
Oh, crap.
Okay, so we're stuck at Harry.
Yes.
Harry?
As well as Hermione and a certain hippogriff, and really, Buckbeak should have been the most surprising bit. But at this moment, Sirius had only eyes for his godson.
What are you doing here? I can't do a child voice, or Harry's voice, or whatever voice he has. Chronos.
Steelix, can you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Trying to get you out, obviously. Harry's voice was muffled by the glass, but still audible.
Oof.
The window's charmed, though, and we can't get it open. If the Dementors... He stopped himself, clearly distressed. Sirius shared a quick glance with Sans, who, thought noticeably more relaxed than before, was still standing to the side of the window and staying out of sight. I think this is Sirius talking?
Well, I'm pretty sure I already have a way out.
Really? How?
Never mind that. How'd you know I was here? How'd you even get here so fast?
Professor Dumbledore. We've been waiting for McNair to be sent to get the Dementors so that you could escape with Buckbeak. But now we can't even get you out. And he'll be back any minute and... Hermione, though she looked decidedly uncomfortable with being airborne, managed to put a comforting hand on his shoulder. I can't do a girl voice, but I'll try.
Breathe, Harry. You're not making sense.
We're going with it. That's how it's gonna be.
I should definitely add Susie to this instead.
No, this is how it's going to be.
Fine. Alright, Steelix.
This must
He
be.
paused, taking her advice with a few long gulps of air. Sirius took the chance to do absolutely nothing. His train of thought had been well and truly derailed. Slumping against the window frame, too distracted to keep himself standing upright, Sirius seemed to mumble quietly to himself. At least that's what it looked like to Harry, who couldn't see it that his godfather wasn't alone at the moment.
Did he say McNair? I thought he... Sans, he... At the Ministry!
Sans whispered over his shoulder to the eavesdropping skeleton.
I could have sworn he was there. He should have been caught, imprisoned!
Of course, Sans, who had more experience with what was actually going on, quickly pieced together at least some of what had happened.
We must be early. We must be early. We have
He
to be
hissed
early.
back, pitching his voice so it wouldn't be heard through the glass.
Close, but not quite where you want it.
Understandably, Sirius needed a moment to process what that meant.
So, what am I supposed to do now? Dunno, escape, I guess. Sirius! No, wait, that's Harry.
Sirius! Focus! Harry's voice pulled Sirius away from his hushed conversation. We need to get you out of there!
Oh god.
What's your way?
Hermione suddenly asked, still
The
in the
thought
process of
asked.
sorting through what had happened. Sirius stared blankly back at her.
My way? Voice crack.
though. She looked annoyed at having to explain.
To escape. You said that you already have a way out.
I did the voice crack because I wanted Sirius to sound offended.
He turned again to look at Sans, wondering just what exactly to tell her. The truth obviously was no go. Both because, one, he couldn't imagine anything going well if Sans was found out.
Yeah, because
And two,
because Hermione would be a Sans fangirl.
the basic fact that escaped by teleporting skeleton would sound outrageous to anyone not in the know. But before he could decide on what to say, said teleporting skeleton decided to throw Sirius's reasoning out the window and answer personally.
I'll take care of that.
Sirius was glad that, for once, it wasn't him being thrown for a loop. Which isn't going to say where he wasn't surprised. But Harry and Hermione were both completely speechless, eyes glued to the window frame Sans was still hiding behind. When they could find the words, both had the same question. Who's there?
No, wait, Steelix and Chronos do it at the same time.
Okay, 3, 2,
Three.
1.
Who's there?
Oh, when are we doing this?
Okay, okay.
Give us a countdown.
3, 2, 1.
Who's there?
I'm nobody.
I'm still trying to get used to Steelix's girl impression. And it's very hard. Having to hear him read it like that every single time.
It makes you think
so
he's...
much enthusiasm. So much effort into this voice. It's not even funny.
You want to know what's weird? What? There's been someone in the fanfic chat who's been deafened this entire time.
Is it Lion Cat?
No,
it's
Buzzfin.
One of those, I think you need to mute him.
Okay, I'll server mute him so he can't speak. In case he does.
We need to read this fanfiction.
It's just imagine some random voice going, "Hey guys, what you doing?" In the middle of the reading. Shut the hell up, we're reading fanfiction. Alright, go back to the story.
Let's just continue.
Alright, you gotta say... oh wait, never mind.
I'm nobody.
Non-talently provided. Who's echoing?
Say it again.
Alright. Sans nonchalantly provided, starting a snort from Sirius.
Steelix?
What?
Is something happening?
No.
You're kind of echoing, my dude.
No, I'm not.
Okay, whose next line is it?
I'm not echoing.
He's a friend! Trust me, he can get me out of here!
It might have taken him a minute or so, but Sirius was finally getting a handle on the situation. Losing or gaining, depending on how it's interpreted, almost 2 whole years is guaranteed to be disorienting. All things considered, Sirius thought he was handling it pretty well. Harry relaxed slightly, but only slightly. What about Buckbeak? He can't stay here.
I know! That was Sirius.
Of course he did. Now that he knew when he was, the first time around, Sirius had been locked up in a different office where Hermione had been able to unlock and open the window. A bit of a glaring hole in the security system now that he thought about it.
Land on top of the astronomy tower, alright?
What?
I'll meet you there and fly away with Buckbeak.
Sans poked him on the shoulder, careful to stay out of sight, and quietly asked,
Can you really
escape?
That's just Sans. You're not Sans. Can you really escape just by flying off? I think somebody'd notice.
Sirius shrugged.
It worked the first time. Seriously? You've already used that pun, Rattles, and I'll use it again.
The skeleton was quick to shoot back.
With a name like yours, it's basically a guarantee.
Before Sirius could reply, Harry spoke up again. What are you talking about? He tried to peer further into the office, hoping to catch a glimpse of whoever was in there with his godfather. What's rattling? Is something trying to get in?
No. He just had a question, that's all.
Are you going to tell it? Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Are you gonna tell us who he is?
First degree
Hermione
thoughtiness. You're getting
asks,
arrested.
tone suspicious but not entrusting. And serious, at least.
No.
Sirius cut in before anyone could say anything else, effectively cutting off any further questions.
Can you get me there? To the astronomy tower, if I knew which one, then sure.
It's the tallest one at Hogwarts, Harry's answered. Sans hadn't really explored the castle all that much, having basically just monitored Sirius from afar before shortcutting directly to him. He had, however, gotten a pretty good look at the outside.
I think I know which one you're talking about, so I can get you to the roof. Alright then!
Sirius directed his attention back to the kids outside.
I'll meet you there, Harry! Go!
Go? But you're...
I promise I'll be waiting there by the time you arrive.
But how?
Hormone demanded.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah. Magic, duh. Hormone.
Sans tugged Sirius away from the window, out of sight, and onto the roof of Astronomy Tower. A dangerously strong wind whipped around them, brisk and insistent. As soon as the change of scenery registered, Sirius sat himself down and quickly scooted back from the edge of the roof. The skeleton, however, took a step toward it. He stared up at the sky, having been too distracted by various things since arrival to really notice and appreciate it.
Or.
And now that he was looking at it, seeing the full moon shining brightly from behind partly parting clouds, amidst scattered stars, he couldn't help but compare. His eyes dimmed slightly. This night sky stretched far over his head, new and familiar. Unfamiliar. So unlike.
Merlin's balls! Care to give me some warning?
Oh, that's good.
Care to give me some warning next time? No.
Oh,
Okay, so
Sans
far, what do you think of the
casually-
story, you two?
I think it's not terrible like I thought it would be. It's not as intoxicated as it.
So
as-
what was Sirius and Sans locked in?
Oh, one of the Hogwarts classrooms because of Dumbledore's planning.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I mean, you can
So
read
he
the
couldn't
entire
simply
story from my
break
channel.
through the glass?
It was basically immune to magic and stuff like that.
Okay.
You couldn't stab the window with your wand or whatever you had? You couldn't punch through the glass?
I don't think that's a good idea, jumping from like 18 floors.
Okay, let's just
okay.
continue logic, put it beside.
Yeah. Wizards and Harry Potter don't really use it, so. No.
Yeah. Sans casually replied. Okay, somebody's
Steelix.
echoing again.
That's not me.
It has to be.
It's not me. I have no echoey problems. I know the quality of my stuff.
Yeah, but we can hear the.
I don't see any issues. I can't find it.
Okay, go to Discord and then Chronos, speak loud.
Hello there.
You see it
I don't know,
now.
hold on. I don't see it. Someone speak loudly.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hello there, Sans.
Oh, it doesn't work anymore. Yay.
Alright.
Chrono, scream loudly one more time.
Hello there, Sans.
Hey.
It was just Discord bugging out, I think.
All right.
No. Okay, I'll stop.
All right, go read.
Sans casually replied, pulling away from his depressing thoughts and practiced ease as he fixed a grin onto his face.
The kids will be here soon, so what's the planet now?
The wizard escapee crossed his arms, thinking.
Right, the plan. Why?
Sans blinked.
You don't have a plan, do you? What? No, I do. It's.
His eyes widened with realization.
I don't need a plan. Serious. That sounds like a bad idea. I think you need therapy. Playing it by ear worked well enough the first time. I mean, apparently.
Sans said. With a sigh, he placed 2 fingers on a bit of his skull between his eye sockets. If he had a nose, he would have been pinching the bridge of it. But then he just grinned, stuffing his hands back into his pockets with a shrug.
Whatever.
And then he vanished again. Sirius threw his hands up in a gesture of long-suffering annoyance.
I literally just said not to do that!
He was left alone this time with the grumbles for all maybe 3 seconds before Buckbeak soared over the edge of the roof. A rush of wind accompanied their landing, along with significant noises as the shingles cracked under the hippogriff's
Harry!
Sirius, unable to help himself, called out.
What took you so long?
I can't believe it.
Hermone. Chronos?
Chronos?
He said, I can't. I didn't hear the rest of it.
I said, I can't believe it.
Hormone breathed, staring in
No, it's
disbelief.
Hermone.
Harry slid off. I'm calling it her hormone.
Hermoine.
Hercule.
Hercules.
Yes, call her Hercules for the rest of the story. For the rest of the
I gotta,
41 chapters.
We're not reading all 41, are we?
Oh, we're gonna read all of them, but we're gonna do it on like a daily basis and stuff like that.
Sure, okay.
So you can relax your thoughty voice.
Nah, that
Hold on.
this is staying.
Yeah.
It's here to stay.
Yeah, but you can relax it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, now keep speaking as Hermione. Alright. Harry slid off a Buckbeak. Wait.
You didn't even say hormone breathed. Hormone breathed, staring in disbelief. How dare you? I'll
I
say
didn't
it
read
for
that.
you.
I didn't listen.
Hormone breathed, staring in
Just
disbelief.
no. Just say thought.
Thought
Thought
breathed, staring in disbelief. We're gonna have so many haters if so many
Tatiana
people
breathed,
watch.
staring in disbelief. Harry slid off a Buckbeak, helped his shocked friend off, then turned his full attention to his godfather. You're here! I have no idea how, but you're here!
Yes, and a magician never reveals his tricks.
If Sans were the one delivering that line, he would have been winking in the frustrating yet somehow enduring way he had perfected. But since it was serious, it was a confident bordering on cocky smirk instead. Hoymorn
No, it's
was less
thoughty.
than
It's
pleased.
thought.
I'm just going to meme this word as many times as I can.
Say thought was less
No,
than
just say a
pleased.
different thing every time.
Okay.
That's what I
Wait, here. Whore was less than pleased.
Someone asked me what I was doing. I said I'm having to read a fan fiction to a group of people at the moment. I'm almost finished. Sounds fun? Question mark. Shakes head no.
Yeah, it is fun. What are you talking about? No.
Just continue.
Thor was less than pleased. She mumbled something under her breath that may or may not have been something along the lines of,
It wasn't your trick. You were just
Okay, I don't know what I'm doing.
you were just a assistant who had vanished.
it was a comeback Sans, who was listening and through an incomplete shortcut could appreciate. Didn't make any sense.
Oh,
He was
like
currently on the other side of the school grounds, sitting crisscross just out of range of a strangely murderous tree. He violently provided excellent cover against any potential snoopers, so Sans was allowed to focus on keeping his shortcuts covered connected to the tower roof for spying purposes. That connection was basically the reason he had never been caught teleporting all over the place. It served as a security camera, letting Sans know if anyone would be around when he popped in. After things in the underground had started to worsen, he clearly repurposed the helpful trick for keeping an eye on things.
not clearly.
Sorry, I'm reading fast.
No, you're not.
Cleverly, Sirius, wait, Sirius, you better go quick. I rushed that one. Sirius, you better go quick. Harry rushed, apparently pushing his surprise and whatever else he might have been thinking to the side in favor of the larger problem. They'll reach that up. They'll find out you're gone. It was an accurate point. Plus, if Sirius was remembering things correctly, Harry and Hermione were under their own rather strict, somewhat literal time constraint. He turned the book beak and bowed. Thankfully, he didn't have to wait long to get the powerful beast's permission to ride. But he paused once he had settled on the hippogriff's back.
Harry,
Go!
No.
Oh, wait.
3, 2, 1.
Go! Steelix.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
3, 2, 1, go!
Go! Both young wizards in training all but yelled, shooing him away with urgency. And try to stay out of sight, Harry added anxiously.
Harry, you're every inch of your father's son.
Smiling down at his godson.
But I must say, you're as good at nagging as your mom!
The boy couldn't seem to gather himself enough to respond, his expressive green eyes betraying just how much that teasing sentence meant to him. Buckbeak spread his wings out and, with a powerful stroke, took to the sky. His godfather still had a lot of what he wanted to say, but he couldn't possibly fit it all in right that instant.
I'd say write to me, but I doubt that'd work well. I'll stay in contact, though. Get your iPhones! In 2 years!
Sirius's voice was growing faint as he flew farther away.
Don't worry!
Don't worry! I thought, Harry meant to say that.
No, it was serious.
Oh, my bad.
Don't
How much do we have
worry!
left? Oh my god.
A few.
Harry kept watching and... Huh?
A few,
Yeah.
more paragraphs.
Harry kept watching until he couldn't see any trace of the escape, but Haman spent that time trying to figure out how to get inside without accidentally killing herself.
Come on, we need to get back before.
Then it was then that Sans went ahead and cut off the connection. He had a crazy wizard to follow. Again.
At least
And
he's
at least-
conscious this time.
Alright, what equals X equal... Okay.
That's
I think
good.
that's a paragraph.
That's a cut.
I think that's
like
a chapter
that's a
separator.
No, it's a split between areas. They used to be at the Hogwarts, now they're somewhere else.
Okay.
Go.
How much left do we have?
I mean, we could stop right here and let me check.
Nah.
Let
I
me
could,
check
like,
how
catch
long
a
7 is.
breather.
Chapter 7 is.
I don't-
Chapter 7 is
wanna read
basically as
7 at
long
the
as this. We've been reading for 30 minutes. I think we should stop right now.
Okay.
Oh.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's all. Thank you for watching. Do you have?
No, we don't really thank you.
Do you two have anything else to say? We're gonna.
Oh
do
my
this
gosh,
again.
like only if I did.
I mean, if only you were like watching us read, it would be a lot of fun!
Chronos.
I do not
I will
find any
continue to
words
say this as many times as I want to.
Chronos, I do not think you're doing it well. Shut the fuck up.